This program is designed and produced by the community with the support of Cogeco TV.
Hello and welcome to the fall premiere of Our Home with Mayor Sendzik. I'm Walter Sendzik, Mayor of City of St. Catharines. I hope everyone had a wonderful summer, but my favorite time of the year is fall, and it's such a beautiful time in Niagara with the changing of the colors and with the harvest of the grapes in our community and just the bounty of fruit and vegetables that we are able to enjoy. There's no more special time than fall. And so this is the return of Our Home with Mayor Sendzik. It's the second half of the season. As you can see, there's been a bit of a change in the scenery, starting with the beard. So this beard will be coming off in a few short days. And as such, it's a fundraising opportunity that I did with Tom Rankin from Rankin Construction. I foolishly auctioned off the rights to my face for a period of time, and it was 11 weeks. This is 11 weeks of growth, 11 weeks. Hasn't been trimmed. I probably fit in better in the 1800s as a mayor for the city of St. Catharines than 2016, but it was for a good cause. It was for the Walker Cancer Center here in our community. And I want to thank Tom Rankin for his generous donation, as well as I was growing this in support of Gord Downey from the Tragically Hip. So next time you see me, after the taping of 2 episodes, so when you see me on the streets, I'll be back to normal. But for the next 2 episodes, I'm still going to have this thing that I've grown accustomed to doing this with. So I know Jim Diodati can't grow something like this. So that's another thing I got on Jim. And as the #1 rated show on Cogeco, it just keeps getting better here. Today's show will feature local talent. And it's really important, I think, for our community to celebrate our local talent. So we have singer-songwriters in our community, we have visual artists, we have performing artists. It's just such a bounty of creativity that we have in St. Catharines and indeed Niagara. And joining me on the show to start is Mel Monaco. She is a talented singer-songwriter who has just recently won the Music Video of the Year at the Niagara Music Awards held in September. Mel is from originally Northern Ontario, but has been in our community for a number of years now. And she has been influenced by her mother and her father when it comes to the creative talents that you will see through her music and through her videos. Now, I've come to know Mel from last year's Au Marché, and It is an annual fundraising event that's held in August, and it's in support of the Niagara Community Foundation. And Mel's and her band played last year, and it blew everybody away. And it was just such a magical evening, and it was magical because of Mel's style of music, which have been compared to Amy Winehouse or Nina Simone. She has such a beautiful voice. It is a powerful voice and beautiful, and it has a bluesy jazz pop sound to it. And those who haven't heard it will hear it more and more in the coming weeks and years, I'm sure. And so she's now recording a new full-length album. The first track is to drop in November, Hold Me Back, and she's truly just getting started. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, Mel. So tell us a bit about your background in music. You've got a lovely style. You've got a very unique style. Tell us a bit of how it all started.
I would say it started when I was really young. I was always playing piano and guitar, and I was Dorothy in my school play.
That's great.
I did not have red hair then, but I was Dorothy, and I just loved it. Started writing my own music shortly thereafter, and I just really, when I was in university and I was in high school, I'd play all the coffee shops and play around, and I always knew what I wanted to do ever since I was 11.
So how did you develop your style, though? So going from university to what you do now?
I think it was just a natural progression. I think I just naturally gravitated towards a lot of R&B, a lot of soul music, and just dancing. I always went to Motown nights when I was at McMaster. And I think it just naturally, like my mom, she was a dancer and also played piano. My dad was a drummer, and I just think music was always in my home. Like everything from Earth, Wind and Fire to Led Zeppelin to No Doubt, because of my sisters. So I got an array of influence. Plus I had a really eclectic group of friends. So
when you were playing at McMaster in the coffee houses, what style of music were you playing? Like what would be the...
I would cover a lot of artists. I mean, Amy Winehouse was a big one for me when I was in university. I always get on my piano or I'd play guitar and I would cover her music. That was really, like, I think she changed everything for me when I really got into her.
So did you go from playing guitar, piano by yourself into a band?
Yeah.
So what was the transition from that into your band?
Well, I kind of was working and I saw this band playing and I looked at the guitarist and I said, hey, play me some funk music. And this is Dan, my guitarist now. And from then on, we've just been playing. That's kind of how we met. And it was a lot of fun, and we have grown as a band, and now we're friends, and like our dreams are kind of intertwining, and like we're really just working really hard.
And that's what I noticed when I saw you last year at Au Marché is how tight the band is, how well you're integrated as a unit.
Thank you.
So when it comes to the writing of your songs, when it comes to writing the music, is it a collaborative? Do you come with the lyrics and then the band puts it together?
So I come with like it written on an instrument with the lyrics and the song, and then I bring it to the band and I say, hey guys, check this out. And then they arrange the instrumentation around it, and we really make it. There is a sound that's really starting to develop, and I think it's mainly with me on the keyboards.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so it's really neat how it's all kind of coming together.
Okay, so the Niagara Music Awards, and you received Video of the Year. Tell us about what that was like to get that recognition.
Once I started breathing again, it was so honoring. I mean, the team behind the project, I worked with Rabid Dog Films, Backstreet Productions, HQ Beauty Bar, my mom was on, and my sister, hair and makeup. We also did it at the Smithville Heritage train station, so the Historical Society was a really big part of it. Jennifer McCready Photography, we just all came together, and it was like a labor of love. Everyone just poured our hearts and souls into it, like the guys in the band, everyone. And the song itself is so empowering. It's called Single Again, and the whole story is literally about this girl who goes from obviously being in some form of relationship set back in like the 40s, and she at the end of it has like tossed off her engagement ring, is in this train station, and she's leaving for New York. So it's kind of a very empowering, strong-willed story.
So in terms of the music business side of it,
Yep.
You go and make a video. It's changed so much from even the days when you were playing at McMaster.
Oh yeah.
So tell us a bit about what it's like to be in business, the business of music today.
You can't stop.
Right.
It's constant. Like you can't give up, and everything is an opportunity. Even if it's, shaking someone's hand at a coffee shop that you met once, that could be something that you have to have that connection at a later date. Mm-hmm. So it's constantly knowing what you're after and keeping your eye on the prize and never letting it drop.
So when you look at how you reach people today, it's when you think back to other bands who were popular in 1990s, 2000s, early 2000s, today, how do you reach? What are some of the channels that you're using?
Well, Instagram is a really big thing for me. I'm constantly posting on Instagram. Facebook is a huge, social media in general, I think, is a very important outlet that as an artist and an aspiring artist, you have to constantly be putting material out there that people will want to see and hear, and just connecting with your fans, and on a personal level, but also on a professional level too. They want to know, I don't look like this all the time. So,
oh no, that would be a question. So this is a persona. This is this is my artist, Mel. Right.
But there's also a whole family side to Melissa. It's actually
Okay.
Melissa. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And so you have a YouTube channel?
Yep, YouTube, visual arts is huge.
And what would you, is it all your videos?
Yep.
Do you post anything else on the channel?
I haven't really to date yet. It's been mainly, I have a great team of people that I work with my music videos, so that's been the main priority, but
And
there's,
then Instagram is more
Yeah.
about images.
Yep.
It's the image of Mel Monaco.
yeah, and any events that I have going on, amping that up. When we played Grape and Wine, the new show coming up in November.
Right. You were at Grape
Yeah.
and Wine. and
Yeah,
that was
last year and
another
this
great
year was
show.
really cool.
So how do you build your base? Tell us a bit about the business of building live performances.
Every show has to be better than the next.
Okay.
So that's kind of how it works. Every show we go out there, we slay it even more.
So how far do you travel now?
We were going to be in Muskoka in December.
Wow.
Yeah,
Great.
so we've gone as far as, Northern Ontario, back to my roots. But we've been in Toronto. We played the ROM, Horseshoe Tavern, Smiling Buddha. So we're really starting to break out there.
And what's the audience reception like so far?
Everyone loves to move and groove. That's what I find. Like it's so energetic, our show, that there's always people. You can always tell the people that are into it. Their heads are bobbing, their feet, they're tapping. So it's a very high energy, very in your face kind of show. But at the same time, if you just want to hear the music, I guess you can sit back and appreciate it that way too.
So you
We're
have,
loud.
and it is true. Your music does. There's an energy to your music,
Yeah.
and you recently shot a video, You're Mine, in
Yeah.
Port Dalhousie, and you also did it with your niece.
Yep.
And if you want to introduce her, I think she's here. Nevaeh.
Yes, she is.
Nevaeh, if you
Nevaeh.
want to come and sit with Mel. And the video, all shot in Port Dalhousie, and I think what was very unique about the video is it was about the Port Dalhousie community.
Yep.
And welcome to the show, Nevaeh. So tell us a bit about the video.
Well, I spend most of my summer days with my niece just in Port Dalhousie. I mean, I work there, and I just love going down to the carousel and walking.
The carousel.
Yeah, carousel's so much fun. It's only 5 cents.
It's only 5 cents. You
Yeah.
keep riding it.
And she does not get tired of it. So, I mean, it was natural. We do it organically, and then when it came time to writing the song, it just kind of, the words just came out, and then I went to my sister and I said, hey, how would you feel about Nevaeh singing on a track? And I asked Nevaeh, and she was really into it. So we recorded it, and then I presented it to my director, and they just love the idea, the concept of taking what it would have been like I see photos of my grandmother in the 40s. Port Dalhousie has always been the place. It's like the gem of St. Catharines. So when we recorded it at Mackey's Harbourfront Market, she ate so much candy floss that day.
It was perfect.
But they were a huge supporter and sponsor of it, and it just fit the 50s and spending the entire day in Port Dalhousie. There's so much you can do, and it's pretty inexpensive. I mean, you can get an ice cream cone, you can rent a bike, you can go down to the beach, walk the piers, and you don't have to spend a lot of money to have a lot of fun and make some great memories.
And it was a really wonderful way to capture a community coming back.
Yeah.
So I do want to thank you for that, as well as you got some promotional items here. You do have a pinup calendar
Yep.
that will be coming out again in November.
Yep.
And you also have some other stuff that is available or will be coming
Yeah.
available.
I actually wanted to invite you.
Okay.
November 20th, there's your ticket.
I got a ticket to the CD. Is it a CD release party? Yes,
It's
it is.
a music video.
Music video.
And also the 2017 pinup calendar. And this is your honorary Hold Me Back Mel Monaco patch.
Ah, wonderful.
You have a jean jacket, you can put it on that.
I do have a jean jacket.
Well, there you go.
So I've got these two, and a pinup calendar will be available in November.
Yep.
If anyone, so how do they check you out on a website?
You can go on my website. All my merchandise is available online. You can go on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes,
The whole thing.
Facebook, Twitter. You can find me.
iTunes. So I want to thank Mel and
Thank
Nevaeh
you.
for coming on to the show. Mel, you are a wonderful talent in our
you.
community. You'll be
You're
seeing
wonderful.
a lot more of Mel, and I encourage you to check out her YouTube channel, check out iTunes, download her music. You will be impressed with the talent that we have here, and look forward to seeing you out and about and at her show, which is coming up on November 20th. So with that, we'll be back with another interview about local talent in our community. Stay tuned. All right, and welcome back to the fall premiere of Our Home with Mayor Sendzik. I'm Mayor Walter Sendzik, and we're here celebrating local talent. And joining me for the second half of the show, we have Clelia Scala and Annie Wilson. Clelia is the president of the board of directors for NAC, as well as a very well-known mask maker, artist in our community. And Annie Wilson, who has been on the show before. So I think this is the second time, which is the most by any person who's been on the show. So you've got a bit of a run going here.
Okay.
And Annie is the artistic producer of the In the Soil.
Of Suitcase and Point Theatre Company.
Suitcase and Point Theatre Company, but also the founder of In the Soil Festival, which is one of the largest arts festivals now in Niagara.
Yes.
And so we're here talking about the upcoming show from NAC, Voix de Ville, and it is the return of STRUTT, because STRUTT had a year off, correct?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Okay, so tell us, give us a bit of history of STRUTT, because there's a lot of people who have attended it in the past, but I think there's a lot of people out there who may not know what it is.
STRUTT started 16 years ago on Bond Street, where NAC used to be housed. And it was an idea by it came from one of the NAC members to have this really fun wearable art show. And it's evolved from there. And 3 years in, Suitcase and Point came on to get involved and turn it a little more performative.
Exactly. Yeah, I can actually remember those very first STRUTT wearable art shows, and there were more performers on stage than there was an audience to appreciate the work that had been made for the show. And exactly, Suitcase and Point came on board. And about year 3, we wanted to add more of a performative element and animate the work in a different way. And so the partnership has been really strong since then. And the event has grown by the sheer will and enjoyment of the community.
And I think that's what, for those who are watching, wearable art show, what does it mean so people can get a visual for what to expect at an event like this? Because I think that's the unique part of this.
Well, when it was STRUTT, it started with just these fantastic costumes made out of a lot of strange materials. We were just talking about that, Annie made this wonderful dress out of cabbage. I made a dress once out of a book. So there were these really neat visual works of art that people would wear down the runway. So it was very much a runway show.
So it's a runway show where the audience would be there, and a fashion show of sorts, but for art, wearable art.
That's right. And then as it went on, and about 5 years ago, would you say, it became a little more performative, and more acts were incorporated, and aerialists. And
so what does that mean, performative? So you went from the catwalk to introducing music, a band?
All of those things. So it was DJ'd for those first few years. It's just continued to evolve, which is sort of where we've ended up today. And so by more performative, instead of just walking down a runway and posing in the beautiful dress made of the insides of a novel, so like what Clelia did, we would create an act, if you will. So we would have people actually perform a bit of a scene, bringing the artwork down the runway and back.
Okay. And so it used to be at W.S. Tyler for a number of years, and so that was an old manufacturing facility in our community, a 100-year-old building, and it was the event of the year where you had people coming from Toronto and beyond to participate and to be a consumer of the event, where you're just taking it all in. So you go from W.S. Tyler to where now?
Well, this year, and hopefully for as long as we can see into the future, the home of the show is at the FirstOntario Performing Arts Centre in downtown St. Catharines. And yes, we were at the W.S. Tyler. We were in, oftentimes STRUTT would take over old industrial spaces. So it was actually in the Haircloth building, which is now the Marilyn I. Walker School of Fine and Performing Arts. That was a really spectacular year, and yes, it landed at the Tyler and a few other large spaces around St. Catharines.
Now you think it's got a home?
And now we hope it has a home. We're certainly we're certainly looking forward to what we're coming up with for this fall. So.
And that was one of the more important aspects of the performing arts space, is giving theater a home. And so I think it's important that the public understand that STRUTT, which is when it was one of the events of the year. And so how do you envision it now going from what it was to now utilizing the FirstOntario Performing Arts Theatre?
I think it is. It's going to be the best and brightest example of why we have brought this facility online into downtown St. Catharines. It's an incredible partnership between the city, the Performing Arts Centre, between our oldest artist-run centre in Canada, the NAC, as well as Suitcase in Point, celebrating 15 years in downtown St. Catharines, creating extraordinary cultural moments for the community. And so it's the culmination of a number of people putting their skin in the game. And we're looking to create and bring an event to the Arts Centre that no one has ever seen before or will ever see again.
So Clelia, tell us a bit about the artist selection. So NAC, as Annie said, is one of the longest running arts centers in organizations in Canada.
Yep.
Tell us a bit about the artist selection and how do you go through that process?
Well, there are some of the artists involved, some of the lead artists involved right now are, we have Sherry Boyle, who is doing the set design, and she is an amazing Canadian artist. She represented Canada at the Venice Biennale a few years ago. Bruce McCullough is the MC, Bruce McCullough of Kids in the Hall of Fame.
Bruce McCullough, wonderful.
Yeah, I know.
How cool was that? Okay.
And Shadowy Men on a Shadowy Planet are going to be the lead band. And then we also have B-Boyism, this amazing dance company that has been at the Performing Arts Centre before and has worked on STRUTT before. They're going to be involved. So we have a lot of really great artists, and then we also have a lot of fantastic local artists involved. And we had a call for submissions. We had a great number of submissions, really fascinating stuff. And selections have been made, and we're moving forward.
So how many people do you plan to fit into the Performing Arts Centre? Because it was a big event at WSTI, 1,500 people, 2,000 people.
Well, yes, exactly. It was over 1,500 people in those last few years at the Tyler. And so our facility can hold, the Partridge Hall can hold 770-ish people. So we have decided to do the event 3 times over the course of 2 days.
Right, okay, so talk about that.
Well, it's exactly because we knew if we only put one show together that it would sell out in minutes, which is exactly how the tickets were trending when we first opened them up to the public. So we thought, wouldn't it be great? We're going to do an event on Friday evening and then 2 on Saturday. We have an early show that will be open to families and people that have earlier schedules. And then as well as a second show on Saturday night, and 2 after parties on Friday and Saturday night will be taking place in Robertson Theatre after the show.
So are they? How do you get tickets? What's the process for that?
It's all through the FirstOntario Performing Arts Centre box office. So FirstOntarioPAC.ca or calling 905-688-0722. Would be a great way to talk to our box office agents and get your tickets that way.
And again, I think that's the unique aspect of the Performing Arts Centre is that you can do now three shows, and you have more opportunity to animate the entire space.
Totally.
Yeah.
And for those who haven't been to the FirstOntario Performing Arts Centre, and I'm sure there's not that many more in St. Catharines, I hope you've had an opportunity to go through. This is the kind of show that takes together our local talents, and it's also a different form of creativity. So it's the fashionable side, it's the wearable art. And oftentimes we forget, and I don't maybe not use the word forget, but we don't shine a light necessarily on all the arts that we have in our community, from the visual to the written to the performing to the music. And the Performing Arts Centre has now become the home that we can do that. And this is an example of how we've brought that creativity, that creative energy that isn't just about the stage, but it's about what goes into the entire production. And so NAC, in terms of if people want to get a better understanding of NAC, because NAC has really taken a leadership role in making sure that the arts live here. How do people find out more about NAC, Clea?
Well, you can go to nac.org, nac.org, and also just stop by at 354 St. Paul Street.
It is a gallery, right?
It's a gallery. There's a storefront. There are 3 galleries within 354 St. Paul. There's the plate glass gallery. There's a members gallery for members, which you can become a member, of course.
How much does it cost?
$40.
$40 to become a member of NAC, and you
Exactly.
get access to all these different events and opportunities and become part of the arts community.
I have to just add to that, that if you are a member of the NAC or a hot ticket member at the Performing Arts Center, that there is a discount on tickets. So members actually have access to quite a deep discount on tickets, just to add.
Nice little plug there, Annie.
Thank you.
Perfect.
And so with the upcoming show, all things are focused on STRUTT, and it's Voix de Ville Extravagonzo.
You got it.
Yep.
And just to wrap up, Voix de Ville, what's in the name?
Voice of the City. It's the origins of vaudeville. So this show is based on the idea of vaudeville, a bunch of acts coming together.
So how fitting, Voice of the City, the Performing Arts Center has become the voice of the city, the center of our arts community, and how fitting STRUTT is coming back and has found a home at the FirstOntario Performing Arts Center. So I want to thank you both for coming on the show. I think what you've seen in today's show is really the creative talent that we have in our community, from Mel Monaco, Clelia, Annie, all that you've done. Did I say it right?
Clelia.
Clelia, see? I had to get it wrong once. And maybe we got it wrong twice. Clelia,
Clelia, perfect.
mask maker, Annie with In the Soil, Mel Monaco and music. The arts really do live in St. Catharines, and I really encourage people to get out, explore our creative community, go to the NAC, check out the gallery, go to Robin Hall, go to the Performing Arts Center, check out our performing artists, our visual artists, and really embrace the creative culture that has come to define our community. So it was an honor to have you on our show. We look forward to having you join us again for our next show, where we'll be talking about wine and beer, so tune in. And with that, I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Take care.